For the second day in a row, Jantar Mantar saw a protest where opposition states upped the ante against the centre over allocation of funds. Today, it was the Kerala government ministers led by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan who led the protest. Much like Karnataka yesterday, the Kerala government has contended that the centre is denying the state due share in taxes and that there is a dip in allotment to Kerala from the pool of tax. Not just that, Tamil Nadu MPs also carried out a black shirt protest in Parliament, saying there was inadequate allocation of funds to Tamil Nadu in the interim budget and that the centre paid no heed to the state's request seeking 37,000 crores as flood relief. Centre, of course, has refuted all the allegations, countering the charges by Kerala, saying that the state has a deteriorating debt situation. Let's take a look at some of the reactions which have come in this top story.
We are seeing the union's allocation for their own schemes coming down year after year, while the states are being forced to chip in more and more. As it is, the states are having to shoulder the major burden of expenses in the country. According to RBI reports, the states are having to cover a substantial 65% of the country's total expenses, with the union's contribution being only 35%.
देश को ये दिन भी देखना था, ये जंतर मंतर वो जगह है जहां पे इस देश की प्रजा सरकारों के एक्सप्लॉयटेशन से तंग आके यहां पे धरने प्रदर्शन करने आती है। लेकिन आज यहां पे केरला के मुख्यमंत्री को अपना सारा कामकाज छोड़ के केरला से दिल्ली यहां पे धरना करने के लिए आना पड़ा केंद्र सरकार की ज्यादतियों के खिलाफ। मैं समझ रहा हूं ये भी इस देश को ये दिन भी देखना था।
இத்தனைக்கும் குஜராத் மாநில முதலமைச்சராக இருந்து அதன் பிறகு பிரதமரானவர் அவர். ஆனால் பிரதமரானதும் அவர் செஞ்ச முதல் செயல் மாநிலங்களோட உரிமையை பறிச்சதுதான்.
Political drama being enacted in a coordinated effort by the three partners of the INDI alliance. Their single point agenda of this triumvirate of these three parties is to essentially create a narrative of South versus North.
And joining me to discuss this further is Kalyan Raman of the BJP, Professor Dinesh Varshni of CPI and Puhas Gandhi of the DMK. Thank you all three of you gentlemen for joining me on this show. And my first question to you, Professor Dinesh Varshni, in fact, what exactly has triggered the left in the interim budget? What was it about the interim budget, the centre's budget speech that has led to this protest on the streets?
You see, it is not only a question of central. What Rajiv Chandrasekhar says that we are leading towards this divide between South and North is very strongly condemnable. Not a single southern state has said that North poor state should not be given. They are only demanding their due share from the GST. They are demanding the wages which is pending with the government of India for this rural employment scheme. They are only demanding that the GST losses which has occurred, that date of that must be extended. The third is that flood relief has to be given in time and it must be actualistic. It should not be partition. And it is not only the southern states are saying. It is all rubbish by the BJP and their ministers. What are they saying? Even Mamata Banerjee has come out for the same. Once she said on Dharna, even Jharkhand has come, even Himachal Pradesh is saying, even Rajasthan was saying when Ashok Gehlot was the chief minister. So
multiple opposition states have in fact raised this issue. I take your point, Professor Varshni. Let me bring in Mr. Gandhi also. Three opposition states that we've seen recently, in fact, holding back-to-back protests. The centre saying opposition parties are trying to create a north-south divide. That is one of the criticism that has come in directly from the Prime Minister on the floor of the House. How would you respond to that?
See, it is the Prime Minister who is indulging in this north-south divide. It is not the southern states. In fact, as far as the fiscal devolution is concerned, we are telling this from day one. In fact, from 2014, ever since BJP under Mr. Modi came to power, that the southern states are, the union government is doing grave injustice to the southern states by not properly providing the funds. because the Finance Commission has clearly recommended, the 14th Finance Commission has clearly recommended for the 41% of devolution of funds, and 15th Finance Commission has recommended for 15%. Whereas the Union government under Mr. Modi has shared only 29%. In fact, when the Honorable Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he was the pioneer, or he was even we can say he was the champion of state rights. It is the Honorable Prime Minister who demanded 50% shares in the 14th Finance Commission. But when he became the Prime Minister, he did a U-turn, and now he is providing only 29%. And even otherwise, this is only an attempt to rob the state's financial powers so that the states become subservient to the center and depends on the center for each and every of their welfare policies. Because the governance cannot happen without proper due share of the states.
Right,
and moreover,
right, sorry, finish your point.
And moreover, why we are saying it is a grave injustice is, we are the southern states are the net contributor states. Out of 1 rupee paid by Tamil Nadu, we are receiving 30 paise back. Out of 1 rupee paid by Kerala, they are receiving only 50 paise back. Whereas our money is being spent in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, because Bihar gets 7.5 rupees for every 1 rupee paid by Bihar.
Right, Mr. Gandhi, some of these points have been put forth by the Karnataka ministers yesterday as well. Let me bring in Kalyan Raman of the BJP. Their DMK saying that there seems to be double speak as far as BJP is concerned. When he was the Chief Minister, Narendra Modi had a different stand. Now as the Prime Minister, he's having a different stand. And there are multiple Chief Ministers from opposition states who have taken time out to protest. Shouldn't the centre look into some of the contentions if states are claiming they are facing massive loss of revenue because of this devolution?
I'm keeping aside the numbers and then talk certain logics. What the DMK has been doing for the last 2.5 years, I'm talking about my state, what the DMK has been doing for the last 2.5 years. They have not been talking about South. So, the narrative that they are trying to set now is that South is being deprived. What DMK has got to do with South other than Tamil Nadu? You just talk about Tamil Nadu, that's it, period, over. Number one. Number two, they seem to be bankrupt of ideas to deal with the best performing government in the country. So, all these people, the CPA or the left parties have been ruling Kerala for the last 5 years, rather 10 years now. And the BJP government, the election goes together in both center and the state as far as Kerala is concerned. What they have been doing for the last 10 years. They have not been saying what they are saying today. And today, incidentally, the Karnataka joins and says that we are deprived of. The issue is that in the whole of North, the so-called disintegrated I.N.D.I.A is losing completely, almost 100%. So they are trying to see if they can set some narrative for South, at least they can gain something out of by saying that the South is being deprived. It is as simple as that. Post GST regime, whatever is happening is with the participation of all the states. Whatever the decision taken are all with the participation of all the states. PT or Pallivel Rajan had no issue with the center as long as he was the human. And then about a week back, Mr. Balu says that everything is well and they're being given all the financial rights. But then now all of a sudden they all come together because they don't have a narrative against the Modi government. So now what they are trying to do is at least they want to gain something in the South in order to do that. Look at, if they talk about South, where is Pondicherry? Where is Telangana? Where is Andhra Pradesh? There are also 3 southern states. Why they are not participated? Why they have not come in contact?
Right, and they are in fact saying, sir, that this is not just about North-South and that there are several other opposition states from other parts of the country also who have similar arguments. But let me bring the question back to the left and the DMK. While the BJP seems to think, as you heard him there, that this is some sort of a political strategy in the run-up to the elections, but some would also argue that the calculations being put forth are a bit flawed because there are multiple layers which are involved when it comes to calculating tax, seeing which state deserves what in terms of central allocations. Bengaluru, for example, draws a large number of residents from other states who are working in that city. There are several MNCs who operate out of both Bengaluru and Chennai, for example. So there are multiple layers when it comes to actually seeing the revenue which is being generated by a state. And can the state draw a direct correlation between that and central fund allocation? If Professor Varshini wants to take that question first.
Look, if there is a lot many IT companies in Bangalore, that they have spent also money in development of Bangalore, na? They have invited
But some of the institutes have been set up by the centre.
Please listen. They have invited an atmosphere, they have developed an atmosphere that a company may be opened there. Similarly, we are not saying don't give it to the other state. We are only saying give justified amount to these states which we are paying for. DMK leader has just now said, as in this DMK panelist, that Tamil Nadu is getting only 21 or 22 paisa out of rupee 1. Karnataka is 15 paisa, 51 paisa or 57 paisa by Kerala, where the other states are getting rupees 7 or 2 or 6 or 5. Why it is a partition attitude by the BJP Modi government? They are leading this situation. For example, the borrowing limit of Kerala is being changed in the mid-fiscal. If that is an election strategy to defeat the left in the Kerala, or that is an election strategy of the BJP. So this is all to tarnish the image of the political parties ruling other than the BJP political parties in those states. So opposition ruled states are harassed financially, politically, and tools like ED, CBI, NIA, all are used.
Right. I'm sorry, I'll have to, in fact, wrap up the discussion now, but let me hear quickly from the BJP if he has a counter to that before we end this discussion.
Once again, I'm repeating that they're just trying to play with manipulative numbers. Let's not talk about numbers here. Let us first look at what they are trying to do. What threat you are talking all about? Please allow me to come.
Right, let's have a say. Let Mr.
You are a failed ideology.
We have 2 seconds left on the show.
You are already losing in Kerala. So when you are losing in Kerala, you are going to lose in Kerala further in the year 2024 elections. So you want to somehow maintain your numbers in terms of votes.
Mr. Gandhi, any final words? Let's also give him... Okay.
Kerala is a state where...
Right, gentlemen, we'll unfortunately have to wrap up the discussion at this point. We have to, but we will not, of course, end the conversation. I'm sure there will be much more to say on this. But Mr. Kalyan Raman of the BJP, Professor Varshini of the CPI and Puhas Gandhi of the DMK, thank you so much for joining us on this heated debate where we've seen multiple opposition parties actually taking to the streets on this very important issue.